everybody, welcome back to the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always is Eric, Nathaniel, and Dennis. How's it going, guys?
Hello, hello.
Going good.
Hello. Well, let me stop
It's
this.
podcast time again.
Yes, let's make sure. Okay, good. I was going to say, usually what happens is as soon as I flip the stream, then it's usually when the quality goes down. So I was expecting it to go down, but it didn't go down this time. So who knows? You got to love computers, though. It's just the way it is. So. But yeah, we thought we would go ahead and do a show this week. Probably, we'll talk about it at the end of the show with some of the stuff in the news. We may end up doing another show next week because there may actually be stuff to talk about on a week-to-week basis. What the crap?
No. Usually this time of year, news is kind of a little bit slower.
Yeah. Well, and we're getting close to
usually right now we're starting to get where you get E3 leaks, but now if we not have E3, we've got other things.
I was going to say we're getting close to the usual E3 time, so it's usually when things start falling out of the sky. So, but with no E3 this year, but we'll get into that in the news though, because
it's crazy too because Walmart's still open also.
Yeah. I just saw today they canceled a retro show that's in Central Washington State. That was supposed to happen in a couple weeks. Today they're like, "Oh, we're not going to have it." I was like, "Really? Everything else that was canceled, it's in the fall, like at least a month ago. You think that show would have been one of the first ones to go because it's brand new? This is the first year they were doing it."
Well, I think
I knew they were going to cancel.
Well, I figured too, but I think a lot of those shows that were, they were hoping. I think a lot of them, especially smaller retro shows, were hoping that maybe things were going to be.
Things changed,
died down by the end of May, 1st of June, enough that they would be able to do it. Now I see, I understand not a San Diego Comic-Con or a E3 where like 30,000 people show up, but a small little, thing like that, maybe they would still have it if things were cleared up, I don't even know how. Me and Nikki were talking. I don't even know how football season is going to work this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're
going to play is it going to be like if the NFL college and just play empty stadiums?
Yeah, well, I mean, is college even going to play? Who knows? Who knows what it's going to be? When fall rolls around, I don't know. It's a weird time we live in, people. It's weird, and
it'll be interesting.
I'm fine with no baseball, but I miss. I'm going.
One of the guys I work with, he's not very big into games, but he just bought a PS4 so he could play Call of Duty, and so he could do Madden and simulate games and stream them, so he could do calls with his friends, and they could just watch games.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is I don't watch that much. Well, that's not true. I watch pro football. I watch college football. I'll watch pro basketball sometimes. But ESPN is. All they're doing is playing like playoff games and like classic NBA
stuff.
matches. And it's really interesting. I'm like, what's this? 96 playoffs? Check this out for a minute.
I don't know. I've never been one to go back and watch replays of sporting events. I just never have.
It's quality. Why is it so bad?
Yeah, even if it's if it's a game that I miss, like my brother records like. Football games and stuff like that. Oh, don't tell me who won. Don't tell me who won. I want to go back and watch it. It's like, I don't got time for that. I don't even want to do that. It's like, I don't have time for that. It's like, I don't have time to do all that with the rewatching and stuff like that. It's like, I'd rather watch it live. If I don't watch it live, especially if I know who won it, it's like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe there's some cool, interesting like trick play or some sort of last minute comeback. I'd like to maybe see the highlights of that. But most of the time, they get that on like replays or ESPN or some other news site. They might have that. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been one to do that, but yeah. But the one thing, and I don't know if you guys had seen any of it, but I'm not going to say I'm a huge NASCAR fan, but have you guys seen any of the iRace or E-Race or whatever it is that NASCAR's been doing the past couple of weeks?
Just a couple of clips on social media, like especially the one where they all just pretty much just crash at the start.
Well, there was like nothing on the other day, and I was flipping through. I say flipping through the channels. I was sliding through the guide, to see what was on, and they were doing it with the iRacing, and the iRacing thing is really cool because it's like I didn't realize it was something that anybody could do. I thought it was something that they set up for, just specifically for NASCAR or for Formula One or something. But no, it's a Steam game. You can go and you pay a monthly fee to play on it, and the whole thing is setting up leagues and racing and everything like that.
iRacing's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. It was
the one where people had like the nice racing setup. My buddy, I think, was into something like that, where he had like the nice, like almost like half cab, like arcade setup for him to play and race, and he was like big into like doing it competitively. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Well, that's the way the NASCAR guys are. They got like 45 of them, and it's not just like current racers. It's like it's like retired racers are doing it and stuff like that. And literally, they've got like 35 or 40-inch LCD screens in their face, so it's wrap around, and they got the steering wheel and the seat, and I mean, it was kind of interesting. It was kind of fun to watch because everybody wasn't. I mean, they were taking it seriously, but they weren't taking it too seriously. You could hear everybody when they go, get angry, and it was. I liked it. I thought it was actually pretty hilarious. It was.
I would love to see a. Can we get that? But like the the pocket fighter from Yakuza. I just want those little pocket. I just want those little pocket cars. That's what I want. That's what I want. Stream that. Hilarious. I want to see thousands of people losing their mind over that.
Yeah.
While Kiryu's, singing Baka Mitai in the background. All depressing.
Yeah. That would be hilarious. But I haven't watched any of the Formula One iRacing stuff. But like I said, it was a replay of. It was interesting. It was really, because these are people that don't play, that don't do video games. These aren't like esports guys. These are just real athletes just sitting in a chair like, in their bedroom or their living room or their den or wherever they have it set up at, with all this racing, just racing.
I'm surprised they weren't playing like Forza Motorsport or GT Sport or something.
Yeah,
it's more geared for that, not yeah.
I mean,
this is way more towards what they want to do.
Yeah, you could set it up exactly like a NASCAR race with the proper cautions and the pitting and the engine blows and all that kind of stuff. So, I was impressed on how much like real racing that simulation thing was. I had no idea that existed, didn't know anything about it. If I'd heard of it, it went in one ear and right out the other. I never even...
That's news to me.
Yeah. Well, they do it every Sunday. Wherever they're supposed to be racing at on Sunday, they do it, and they stream it on... They play it on, like, Fox. It's on regular cable. It's on Fox Sports.
Charge like subscriptions for it or something, and people would probably pay.
Well, that's what they do. That's the whole setup with the iRacing like thing.
What about people watching it though? Is it streaming for free, or do you have to?
I don't know. I don't know how you go see other people's stuff. All I know is like Formula One and NASCAR and stuff's online or on TV, but I don't know. I don't know if you can watch other people's.
I think they've been streaming some of them too, but I don't know for sure where you see that or what channels.
I'm guessing probably YouTube, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've heard they're streaming on Twitch, but I don't know who is streaming on Twitch. Is what I was more getting at.
But, it's an interesting concept. It's like, and the graphics aren't half bad either. I mean, what I told Nikki was I was amazed on how well they raced in a simulation thing, because when I race in a simulation thing, I'm all over the it's like, I can't, but I mean I'm blowing through people like, get out of my way, but when they were racing, it was just like a real race. It was weird. It was very weird. It was like, wow, these you see
the difference when you get real drivers in there, but also just a difference of having an actual like cockpit setup with a steering wheel and all that stuff versus a gamepad. None of those guys were using a controller. They were all using
I feel like it's also a testament to probably just the design of the game itself, though, that if you can get real drivers to actually like perform that well in the game, kind of shows how well you've made the physics and everything as well. So
well, what was weird is they had spotters. Some of the drivers actually had spotters in a remote section. They had a different angle of the track, and they could tell them, all this car's coming up on your side. It's just like they do in real life. So their spotters were still working and doing stuff. It was weird. It was just, we were just sitting there watching it, going, This is this is weird. I said, but you know
It's
what?
bizarre.
I kind of like it. It's kind of interesting. It's, but, us, watching NASCAR, but even somebody who never watched NASCAR, I think, if you would enjoy something like that, it was real interesting. Plus, like I said, it was more of a laid back, it's like, oh, I won, that's fine, or, oh, I came in third, that's fine. It wasn't like it was a serious,
Right.
seriously serious thing, but yeah, so check it out. It's on Fox.
Probably makes it more entertaining that way if it's a lot more casual.
Yeah, it was. It's a lot more casual. There's a couple of them are in the same room at the at the office, at the main Fox office or whatever. But
Right.
But still, it was weird, but yet cool. So I thought that was very interesting. Then I was like, okay, I could see them doing this all the time instead of actually having real races if they need to. I mean, if we can never go to a racetrack again.
That's fine by me.
Never back in the first place in my case.
Well,
not my thing.
Yeah, I like to say I'm not the biggest NASCAR fan. I've been to a couple races and they're enjoyable. And
I think I only ever went to, well, not in real life, but well, I mean, it wasn't real life, but it's like I went to one quote unquote like race tournament. It wasn't serious though.
Yeah.
It wasn't serious. This was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I think 2 or 3 years ago. It was during E3 actually. Microsoft had invited everybody. I think I've been doing this actually lately, where if you have a Microsoft store near you, you can go and watch E3 over there when they have their Xbox presentation.
Yeah.
And they reward you. They give you this awesome like gift bag and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. And I did it for 2 years in a row. And then I was like, I'm gonna stay home. But they had this like at the time they had a Forza Motorsports. I can't remember if it was for 7 or 6, maybe both. But they had a motorsport tournament. It was super chill, but just for entering, they gave you like a $20 Xbox gift card. So I was just like, well, I mean, I enjoy Forza to begin with, and I mean, if you're just going to give me one for free, you may as well, go ahead and enter. So I didn't make it very far.
Yeah.
I didn't make it very far. There's some ridiculous people who play Forza. It's but I think first place got like $150 worth of Xbox Live credit and all that stuff. Got a crazy gift bag. Everyone got a gift bag, but like the first place was like a nice bag. They didn't get like a Surface or anything, but it was still like it's still very rewarding. Like Game Pass was on there, and all the stuff that would probably amount to lots of money. You got $60 for a year for Live. You get your year's worth of Game Pass. You get your $150 Live credit, so on and so forth. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I miss things. I miss being in an area of things like that. That's how we got to go to the Gears of War launch party, and it was in Chapel Hill. It's just because they had it. We were just in the area, and I had an Xbox Live account, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to go? Send us an email, and we'll get you tickets." And
they only have 2 here. I don't know if they've had more at one point, but there's only 2 here in North Carolina. There's one in like the Chapel Hill Durham area, and then there's the other one's in Charlotte.
Yep.
So
I was gonna guess Charlotte's got to be one of them.
Yeah. Everything's at Conquer Mills. I mean, they have everything at Conquer Mills in Charlotte. So, speaking of racetrack, it's right there by the racetrack.
That's right. It's a 3-hour drive for me. I would never.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I've done it many times, but I don't like it. I don't like driving that far.
We were only an hour and a half from Charlotte, so we ended up going to Charlotte a lot. Yeah, we used to go to Charlotte. We were an hour and a half from Charlotte, hour and a half from Raleigh, so we could go either way. We were right in the middle. So. Yeah. So, but yeah, I miss those days of being invited to stuff like that because it was pretty cool to meet the dev team, and they had it at a bar down in Chapel Hill, and had all the things set up where you could play Gears of War, and Cliffy B was there, so cool. And all the devs, and it's funny. All I remember, and I was talking about this to somebody the other day. That's why it was fresh in my mind. Is I remember Cliffy B walking up to me when I was shaking his hand and told him how great I thought the game was. Blah 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 blah. And all he said to me was, "Eat and drink all you want. It's all on Microsoft."
That's such a thing he would say too. I love that. Yeah. That is such a Cliffy B thing. I love it. He no, sorry, not him. You had made mention of meeting developers, and I think that's one of the most exciting part I think of any game really is meeting developers. Like I met the team who created or the team behind Division, because I think what is it, Red Storm Studios? They're in Cary.
Yeah,
they're
Red
in
Storm's in
Cary.
Cary, Epic's in Cary. There's a Naughty Dog's. I think I think it's Naughty Dog's got a studio in Raleigh as well.
Insomniac's got one here.
Insomniac, that's what I'm thinking of. Is Insomniac? Yeah, always get those two.
And then there's a few other smaller ones around. There's like a nice little core group of different developers here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I pass by Insomniac pretty often, actually. But yeah, no, I spoke to those guys, and I think it's just always super cool, just kind of picking their brain, just kind of, and then seeing things pre-release as well. Like I saw the Division. I mean, it had already been announced at this point, but like probably up to a year before the game actually came out, before it was actually like the retail build came out. And I remember just looking at it, and like when the retail build came out, because I didn't see anything since then, I was like, oh wow, I mean, the UI was different, everything was different. So it's I love seeing stuff like that, just kind of seeing the development process and seeing how things change from, where they were conceptually to how they get to where they are, at retail. But they were super cool, super great guys. And yeah, I don't know. I just love talking to devs. I think it's great.
Yeah. I always like that too. It's like when we went to the Gears of War thing, they had it set up. I forget how many machines, Xboxes they had set up, but we were standing in line playing. And we go up, and I'm standing there playing it, and it's all on a LAN, so we're all playing against each other. We're playing, 4-on-4 or however many it was. It's been so long since I've.
They had us do that too.
Yeah, but we were playing, and somebody was standing behind me the whole time going, no, what do you want to do is this? What do you want to do is that? Now do this and do that. And the whole time I'm thinking, dude, come on. I know you probably played this a dozen times. And in the back of my head, I'm saying it. And then I get done. I say, here's the remote. He's like, oh, I'm not playing. I designed this level. It's like, okay. Well, no wonder you knew how to do this and that and that. And this.
That's like apparently somebody had tweeted something around E3 time last year. I think it was E3 time last year, where when Nintendo was having their booths. Yeah, I think it was E3 last year, because that's when they showed Luigi's Mansion 3. Yeah. And I remember there was a couple people on Twitter that were just like, apparently it was really annoying trying to play Luigi's Mansion 3, because everyone was just like, oh no, if you hit that ghost a couple times with the light, it's just like, can you just let me please just just let me try to figure this out, because if you're breathing down my neck like a coach, like I didn't realize I was going for first place here. It's Luigi's Mansion. What are you doing? Like relax. Yeah. But they're over here like, and then if you can get the poltergust to really, take in the ghost this way. If you go around this way, get the dual tails and stuff like that. It's like, sir, please, I appreciate everything you're doing, but you gotta stop. And I saw a bunch of tweets like that too. And then someone posted a video too of just being like, look, I don't. Do you want to play? Do you want to just demonstrate it at this point? Just please.
Yeah.
I'll just walk you.
Yeah, it was funny because normally I'd be like, dude, just let me play, and then I'm like, well, I'm glad I wasn't a jerk, since he was actually the guy who worked on the game. It was like,
when I tried Division early, everyone was super cool, super nice, because it was also, because it was so early. Also, it was almost like a free testing experiment, where they didn't have to pay anybody. They were just like, all right, let's just let them play a couple of rounds. It
was a very early alpha.
Exactly. It was very early too, but everything looked good at the time. So it was very cool talking to that team. Now there were some conflicts, because I appreciate Ubisoft now, but at the time, because Ubisoft used to be, this is just a personal thing, Ubisoft for the longest time used to be one of my favorite developers and publishers, and but that was at a time where like Assassin's Creed, which used to be one of my favorite series, was like, it became quantity over quality, right? I mean, like, how many 9 years straight, just about, there was a game every
seemed year. Like it, yeah. I don't remember exactly, but
it was borderline seasonal. It felt like they got to the point. And so I was almost trying to, I really tried hard to not be like, hey guys, so what's it like working at Ubisoft? They like, do they breathe down your necks? Like, is Division 2 already made, even though you're not finished with Division 1. Like, what's going on here? You know, but
and come to find out, yes, they
Like,
all get breathing down their necks.
I feel you gotta respect game developers, especially with all the crunch time that they do, because I know that's not easy.
Yeah.
You know, especially trying to meet schedules and whatnot. I mean, we've all heard what's happening with Naughty Dog, so I mean, we'll get to it later. But it's sad, but so is the state of, I guess, video games now. They've become bigger and bigger and bigger. But anyway, so I guess Animal Crossing update. We'll do that right off the bat. I finally got KK Slider to come play at my island, so I finally got that. Me too.
Finally got all that done, so now I can.
That took a while.
Yeah, it did, and I don't know why it took so long. It's
I had
very
it a
weird.
while ago.
Yeah, I think it was because I didn't realize I had to go back and talk to
for
Isabella.
the evaluation.
Yeah. So I think that had a lot to do with it, because it was like, I wasn't going back. I just assumed it would I couldn't remember how it worked in the other games. I thought it just popped and that was it. So then it was like I go back and talk, and it's like, oh, well, you've got this and blah 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 blah, and then it's flip. I'm like, oh, well, why didn't I just do this to begin with? But oh well. I probably could have got it.
They tell you should talk to her for reviews, and they'll tell you, hey, what you can improve. But then, when he's actually going to come, it's like, hey, he's the one who left a review. Like, Tom Nook is like, what?
Yeah, it was...
the way he freaked out made me laugh. He was just like, wait a second, KS, those initials, and then just those eyes that they get, every time you wake up Blathers, that never fails to make me laugh. It's so good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, any hoot.
I like Blathers and I hate Blathers all at the same time.
Yeah.
I listen to everything he has to say because I feel bad for him. I'm just like, just go ahead and give me your information.
All that crap, and every time it's just like, dude, I just want to donate something. I don't need to skip 6 lines just to get to the thing, dude. I know it's in your day, but come on.
Yeah, I know I woke you up in the middle of the afternoon, but I don't care. Just evaluate these, and if you want them, fine.
Less. Yeah. If I just
want a coffee, I'll make you a coffee. Don't worry about it.
Jeez. Let's see. I had my first fake painting come up. That was fun. So it just hangs.
I played the first 2 days or whatever of the event thing enough to get to hey, I'm going to expand the museum, and then I haven't played since.
Yeah. I haven't played as much as I usually have, but once I kind of got KK to play, it was like, well, now I can slow down. I don't have to be in a crazy hurry to do things. I did finally get all of my trees that have fruit and put them on the back side of the island in orchards, so I don't have to mess with them anywhere else in town. But now it's like, oh crap, here's a money tree right in the middle of the thing with nothing here. Okay, well, here's bury the money, wait a couple days, and then, I got my money, dig it up, cut it down. It's like,
oh, no, you bury the money, then you dig it right back up and put that money tree in its own money tree spot.
Yeah,
and then once you get the money, you chop it right back down.
Yeah.
So get out of here.
I've just been leaving it and just chop it down where it's at. It's like, but yeah, I mean, really, I haven't played a ton of Animal Crossing like I usually do. Turnip prices. I didn't even buy any turnips this week. It was just like, I'm not even going to mess with it this week.
Speaking of turnip prices, I messed with some people today.
I saw your tweet. Yeah.
I kind of did a social experiment. I just wanted to see all the rabid animals kind of flock. And that's exactly what happened. I said, what did I say? I have to go. It was like, I basically said, oh wow, my turnips are selling for a whopping 880, and with not even 5 seconds later, just the DMs and the mentions blowing up.
Plus, you put that hashtag in there, so people got that on alert.
I'm sorry, I had a typo. It's only 80.
Yeah,
that's right. I crushed the dreams with that one. Today was just one of those days where I was like, you know what? I feel like trolling somebody.
Wonder how many people reported him and blocked him, and he doesn't even know it.
Probably a lot. That's okay. That's okay.
Meh.
You know?
Meh.
It happens.
Yeah, who cares?
But I
yeah.
felt like 80 was still a good price too. So just to be fair, I was like, look, if you want to come over, just one Nook Mile ticket and a $10 eShop card.
Uh, yeah, I think mine got up to 200 this week, but the problem was when they wanted 110. I was like, no, I'm not paying that much for turnips this week.
The highest still I've gotten, because I still check, even though I don't really care for the turnips anymore, just because I've gotten so much money at this point. I don't even know. I've just been giving it away. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So still the highest that I've gotten has been like 140 something, 50 something.
Yeah.
Still nothing over 200, 300, 400, nothing like that. Yeah. So it's ridiculous.
200 was the highest I got. Like I said, I didn't even have turnips, but it's like I check it anyway. I'll put it out there if anybody has any that want to come.
Yeah.
Who knows tomorrow? I mean, if they're cheap enough, I'll buy some. But it's not like I need it. I'm still banking about $1 million in the bank.
So. I mean, at this point, it's just. I mean, I feel like we've all become, the Jeff Bezos of our island. Yeah. It's just,
and that's fine. I want it that way.
I'm more just waiting for like, oh, hey, is there anything cool that I want to put in my house?
Exactly.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care today. There's nothing to get.
We don't have to pay taxes either. I mean, come on.
Well, it's like they had an arcade machine in Nooks the other day. I was like, I will buy that. That thing's 70,000 bells, but I'll buy it. And if they put another one in there, I'll buy another one.
I finally got a cabinet to show up. Cabinet and one of those like data centers, like the little servers.
Yeah.
Too, because I decided on my basement I want to like recreate the lab in like the first Resident Evil, the mansion. Yeah, I want to do that. So add a couple of servers in there and get some. Just kind of just recreate that kind of science atmosphere. I want that.
There you go. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's hard work though. I don't want to put that much work.
It's hard work, but you know what? I appreciate a challenge. So
yeah, it's like I go into some people's islands and they got it all nice and done and everything divided off and walk here and walls there, and I'm just like, I want mine to be chill. We don't need no streets, man. That's just holding us back.
all I need is my hammock. And a peach tree, and we're good.
That's why you don't do actual streets. It's just dirt paths.
Yeah. But you don't need that. That's just the man.
You can do regular dirt and dark dirt.
That was my whole goal, was just to get my orchard trees back up out of the way and put them all together, because I hate having them all spread out.
One thing that would be nice if they'd patch in those, if you could get stuff up to the edges. So like on the edge of a cliff or anything, you can't get to it. Just like you could still change the tile there. Just change the texture. It's fine.
Yeah. That stuff is so annoying. Yeah, and then having because you get these random like strips of like green and whatnot, or just some pattern that you don't really want there because it just won't sync up.
Yeah, it's so weird how things are like that. I don't.
But hey, we've got shrubberies and stuff now, so and hedges.
Hedges are cool. I like hedges. Hedges are pretty cool. I'd rather have hedges than like a wall or something, or a fence. I like hedges.
Some of the fences are pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of the fences.
I've got some of the fun, cool, like I think they're imperial fences, but they're like Japanese looking. And it's part of the area where I've got kind of a little rock garden-y thing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish I could do is put all my rocks in one area instead of having them all spread out. And I know there's ways to doing it, but it sounds very complicated. Yeah, and that's why I don't want it to paint. I just want to dig it up and move it. I don't want to break it.
You can move
dig it up and move it.
Whole trees. Why can't you move whole rocks?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of my rock and hope it grows back. But yeah, I was watching reading some of the things on how to move rocks, and I'm like, you know what? That is so much of a pain in the butt to try to build your own rock. Forget it. It's no big deal.
Well, I assume that there's just a lot of like, hey, plant a bunch of things that where rock can't be, and then it'll just only have so many places to choose from to respawn.
Yeah,
I guess.
And that seemed to be the way it was. They were like, pick a spot and then fill it all with flowers. It's like, so they had like just this whole area of just the whole town, every inch of it, where there wasn't like a road or a bitch, just had flowers. And I was like, you know what? I don't have that kind of time or patience. It's fine. I'll just wherever the rocks are at, we'll just build around them and
respect the rock. Man.
Yeah, respect the rock, because I'm not having it. So. But Nathaniel, you want to go ahead and tell us what you've been playing? I know you said you've been playing Monster Hunter, which I enjoy that game. What little bit of it I played.
I stopped playing so much Animal Crossing, and then went back and dug into a couple of games I had in my Steam library that I got in the holiday sale, because that's what I tend to do with those: is buy a bunch of games and get to them. It's like, if I could get to them before the next big Steam sale, then awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of like. So I've done Monster Hunter recently, and then before that I did The Surge 2.
Now, you playing Monster Hunter with anybody, or are you just playing a
Not
solo?
yet.
Not
Just solo right now. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like Surge 2 is really good. It's very much like a Dark Souls style game, but sci-fi-y. Post-apocalyptic sci-fi-y.
Is that one on
and
Game Pass?
it's more forgiving than Dark Souls is in some areas, which is kind of fun. But it still has that, especially like the first Dark Souls, where it's all about like twisting the levels around, and hey, you unlocked a shortcut, and here's a shortcut. There's so many shortcuts in The Surge 2, it's ridiculous. Like, here's this one small area, and there's like 4 different little doors that you can unlock just to give it back to this one, like, what do they call? I forget what they call them. But like basically the bonfires, but it's like a cool little medical center you get in, and it can do surgery and stuff on you or whatever to heal you and do upgrades and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, it's coming to Game Pass. I don't know if it's on Game Pass yet or not. I know it says it's coming.
Yeah.
It seemed like
I never
just
played
came
the
up
first one. The first one, people
one.
seemed to kind of like it, and then they heard that the second game was better than the first one, so I was like, I'll try it because it was on sale.
I had the first one for review, and I'm not much of this type of game is really not for me. So I struggled a lot. It was interesting, like different sort of twist on the traditional like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Sci-fi settings. That was kind of cool. But
so the fun thing that this game does, which was from the original game, and then they still have in the second game, is the combat has targetable body parts. And so when you lock on to somebody, you can either see that it's unarmored, or you have like an unarmored part, or then they might have like a gadget or something that shows up as a different color, and you can target that. And if you target armored pieces, it takes longer to do damage to them. But then if you get it down enough, you hold a button and you can chop their arm off, or chop off this piece of armor, and then you get that as a schematic. If it's the first time you've got it, you get pieces so that you can then craft, stuff for yourself and upgrade your items to get to a better level. And like the enemy level that you get, like when you defeat them, you get pieces from that level will upgrade your armor to that level. So it kind of, that's the way progression kind of goes.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to fight someone 2 levels away from you, you're gonna die. You went the wrong way. You need to turn around and go back.
Yeah, it is actually. It's on Game Pass right now if you have Game Pass.
The combat is what makes that game a lot of fun. The level designs, it's kind of fun too, but it's not like the most amazing place to explore. There's some cool areas in it, but it's still, the combat's the main part of that game that's fun.
Cool.
The story is kind of it's okay. It's very light on story, but it's there and it's fine. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing either. I probably got a little over halfway, and then I just kind of got enough of it where I was like, okay, I've played enough of the Surge 2. I'm kind of done with it. I want to play something different. But there's some fun boss fights in that game. You fight a mech kind of partway through, that then after that the whole game map changes and there's a lot harder enemies on there after that. That mech boss fight was probably my favorite one of the boss fights that they had in that game, because it's kind of like a 2-stage thing where you're fighting this guy, and then once you damage the mech enough, he comes out and he's fighting you like in more of a duel style boss fight, except the mech is still half disabled inside and shoots things off every once in a while. So it's kind of just more interesting than just one of those styles like giant monster or human-sized enemy. It's kind of like, hey, we can do both at the same time.
Yeah, it
so
looks
kind of
cool.
Interesting. Yeah,
I like Bleeding Edge.
I don't mind Bleeding Edge, actually. I've played a few games. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's something I'm going to like dedicate a lot of time to, but like what I did play, I really enjoyed it, actually. I like that the art direction, I think, is great. The characters are really fantastic as well. It's just my biggest criticism of that game when I tried it was I feel like the matches last way too long for what it is. They last way too long. I mean, I just start to lose interest and lose motivation after like, get closer to 10 minutes, because sometimes matches last like 20 minutes and I'm like, look, this doesn't need to be, this is just a simple capture point. I don't understand, but the way they have it set up just makes it last so long. And I don't know, I just kind of lose motivation. But overall, I do like, and I do like what what they tried to aim to do with it. I just, unfortunately, I just don't know how long it's going to last. It just kind of seems weird that, because it's from Ninja Theory, just because they're a really small team, and they're also working on Hellblade too. So seems like a lot's going on.
Yeah, I was just looking through. Yeah, that one, Deck 13 or Deck 13 did Siege 2, and that and Bleeding Edge both came. Surge 2, they both came up on Game Pass at the same time, and I downloaded both of them. And I haven't tried Surge 2 yet, but I did play a little bit of Bleeding Edge, and it was pretty cool. So, but
yeah, like Surge 2 is interesting because it's like, I really like the Soul style type of games, and it's a different one because it's got a different skin on it, where all the other ones are very much some kind of like fantasy, or you've got something like Sekiro, which is a little bit more, like
right.
I don't know, kind of hybrid of it's just a different type of fantasy.
Yeah.
Slash a little bit of historical, but not really. It's more just like, hey, Japanese fantasy of this kind versus the Dark Souls, which is Japanese fantasy, a different avenue. This one has all got the kind of post-apocalyptic sci-fi thing with all sorts of weird spare parts put together to make crazy armor things. So yeah, my favorite weapon, there's some good ones in there because they have a bunch of different styles. So like punching ones, they have like the big, hammers and stuff. But I had like a really nice sword that I ended up using most of the time in that game. Because it was really, I don't know. It depends. In Dark Souls, because it's more methodical and you're moving through slower, I tend to like more like sword and shield, or like a big sword and be slower attack stuff. But in some of the other games, I really like fast attack things. So it's just kind of depends on what I fall into. And this one was one where I was like, okay, I wanted a little bit faster.
Well, and it's cool that you have those options. That's
that's part of the appeal of those games. It's like, hey, here, pick a weapon and go through it. You can play it how you want. If you're really crazy into the game, try and master all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think the Surge 2 is quite good enough to do that, but it's got enough choices that are different enough that you can find something that you'll like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But better is Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
Way better.
That is a very cool game. I'm
very, very late to the party. It's a game I've always kind of had my eye on. Then like, I'll get to that eventually. And then it was on sale during this Steam sale, so I picked it up and finally got around to playing it now. Probably would have done it earlier if I hadn't been just so busy this year to this point.
Yeah.
Plus Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Animal Crossing will do that. I mean,
it took some time out, but yeah, this game I started maybe 2 or 3 days ago. I can't remember when. I'm like maybe 20 hours into it now. I put a ton of it today. The game is so good. It's a lot of fun. I'm not even in like any end game or anything yet. I'm just partway through the story missions on it, and then I've done some side mission stuff.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it. It's been a while. It's one of those ones that I've been wanting to play, and I enjoy playing it with other people. So
yeah, I've just done it solo so far.
Yeah,
because I can just do it my own pace, and I don't have to worry about anybody like rushing through something when I just want to kind of explore this map because it's my first time there, whatever. So I've just been doing it that way, and so far so good. I've gotten, I think, probably 8 or so of the big monsters down so far, and I just got to the 3rd area, which is the Coral Highlands, which looks really cool. It's a lot different than the other 2 areas because it's a lot more fantastical.
Yeah.
Like the first map is all this kind of like jungly stuff with a little bit of like beach in there, and it's all lots of verticality of running along branches and finding caves and all sorts of stuff. It's really dense. Then you have like the desert kind of map, the second one you get to.
Yeah.
And it has a little bit of that, but it's a little bit more of a wider open kind of a feel to it. And then Coral Highlands is just like, look, all these giant things that look like coral and mushrooms and stuff, and fun. So I've been there. I haven't been there that long, but I was like, ooh, this is a lot different than the other 2. 2 maps.
Yeah, I need to
That's
download
probably-
it on Game Pass. In fact,
I'm not sure how many areas. I should look it up, but it looks like on the map that means I've uncovered half of the world map at this point, maybe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've
I just
always
have the
liked that.
base game. I didn't buy the big expansion that's been going on.
All the ice, whatever it's called.
Iceborne, I don't know.
Iceborne, maybe?
Something.
Ice something.
Born. That's what
Hang
it
on.
is.
Oh, okay.
Let me scroll down, click it on my Steam page.
I played it. I played vanilla. I played when it came out because I love Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Iceborne.
That's just when I was starting to phase off of my my PS4 at that point. I didn't have the motivation, just to really. I didn't want all that grind. I just didn't want that at the time. But I do love me some Monster Hunter. But it was just a little, it was a lot more grindy than I wanted. And I've been wanting to jump back, but at the same time, it's just like, with Animal Crossing taking up all my time, and then the reviews that we have to do as well. It's like, I'd rather just focus on that.
So far, I haven't. It doesn't matter. I'm just playing through it, and it's not hitting any grind yet because I'm still in like, was it low rank and high rank? So they have low rank missions until you get far enough that it becomes high rank or whatever the heck it's called in Monster Hunter. But so I haven't gotten that far. But like I said, I just did kind of like the big. Like the start of the game, you have like the big lava monster thing that kind of brings you to the island, and then I just did the big fight where it's kind of like you're trying to trap it, and of course it goes wrong because you're not far enough in the story yet. Monster Hunter, don't even try trapping a giant thing, especially trying to trap it with just like a few harpoons with ropes. Like, what are you gonna do, guys? Like, come on. It's just gonna like laugh at you, burn the ropes, and keep wandering off. Like it's kaiju size. It's not a small big monster. It's a big monster.
Yeah, I've got it on PS4, and like I said, it's on Game Pass right now. So I might actually download and play it on Xbox. Since I've got it on Xbox anyway, and it's probably Xbox enhanced, so it'll probably look nice on the.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking game.
Yeah.
Like, I've got my system runs very smoothly, probably averaging 90 frames a second. So I see all that on my high refresh monitor.
Yeah,
I could probably turn things down and make it go higher frame rate, but like, who cares at that point? It's like,
well, yeah, I mean, anything over 60, it's like, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I can make it go higher.
Also for a game like that, I don't think you really need it.
It's not fast enough paced kind of a thing.
Right.
It looks nice.
Like I mean, unless you're trying to actually make like a surgical incision, I wouldn't worry too much about 100+ frames on Muzzle.
Well, okay, if you have the high refresh monitor, it does make a difference. And if you're playing something, say like an F-Zero or that style, it's super, super, super fast, that those frames can definitely help because it responds quicker and it's smoother on there. You're not like if you're moving across the screen really fast. It's not like jitter. It's like you see the whole thing. It's almost like the more frame is closer to real, where it looks like it's just smoothly moving.
But if you have one of those big axes, doesn't
matter unless you're even a multiplayer game or something.
I was going to say, if you have one of those big axes, does it make you swing it faster than it does when you?
No, but you see every single frame of that slow.
Oh, okay.
Every single frame. So if you want to go into photo mode and take a particular shot,
I decided to start the game with one of the easy for beginners or whatever ones that they have, because they have little movies you can watch as like recommended 3 stars, 2 or 1. Like, don't try this one because it's really weird and complicated. I was like, I just want dual blades because they look cool and they go really fast and you do a lot of whirling and fun. So that's what I've been doing. I haven't done any other ones
dual
so
blades
far. Other than like trying a few of them out on the training grounds. I was like just done dual blades so far. And haven't regretted it for a second because, man, that's so much fun. So, like, all the weapons have all their different mechanics, but I'm like, I don't care about all these. When I've watched a couple videos, I was like, yeah, that could be fun, but I can't go into super fast choppy mode.
Right. Yeah. And that's true because I want that hack and slash style always. So.
And then I just discovered that you can, do the leaping jumps off of certain walls and things. I was like, oh, neat. I discovered it by accident. I was like, let me go watch a video about these things and see all these, like, more in-depth mechanics I don't know about when I'm just like mashing buttons. I was like, oh wow, that's cool.
Tell you what, that game has come such a long way from what it was on the PS2 back in the day. I mean, I remember doing the beta for Monster Hunter on PS2 because it was one of the first online games for the PS2, and thought it was amazing and was really fun. It was kind of grindy, but it was like I had a good time. And like now, you go back and try to play an older Monster Hunter after playing Worlds, it's like. Worlds is so much better. They've made so much quality and quality of life, changes in that
That's the
game.
biggest thing.
Finally,
The
yeah.
scout fly stuff
Yeah.
that you can like go have them lead you to just about anything.
Yeah.
It's like nice.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is the quality of life changes. I like for me, I know I had complaints for a long time, and I tried to go back to not even Double Cross on the Switch. I went back to 4 Ultimate on 3DS one day just because I was feeling it, and then I made it maybe 10 minutes in, and I was just like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. It's,
and bless the people who have the original 3DS because they have to move the camera on the bottom screen versus
where, like,
on the
the
new
raptor
3DS
thing, right?
you actually have exactly, you got the button.
Yeah.
Fingers.
So
or if you got the or you can use the nub. You got the little
that's
nub
right,
thing.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can
the
use
little nub
the
thing.
little
You
like
get the
C
Circle
stick
Pad,
thing.
if you get the Circle Pad Pro and you have the original 3DS, can you do it that way?
Probably you should be able to. I would think.
But it was miserable on OG 3DS, my god.
Yeah, it really was. The camera would get, ugh. But yeah, it's a really good game, and I need to play it more. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed. I'm about 20 hours in, and I think I just finished episode 3 last night, or chapter 3, however they break them up. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like I enjoy the game, and I'm having I'm having a really good time with it. But man, it's like, geez, I'm only a quarter of the way through this game. I think there's 9 of the main story. I think there's only nine chapters or something like that. So it's like,
Yeah, they definitely set out to do an epic, like old Greek epic, like
yeah,
Homer's Odyssey. That is the style of story they went for, and they did it even with just the
It's
main
great.
game, let alone if you had the DLC on top of it.
yeah, I know, right? Oh my gosh, it's like,
Which both things of DLC are really good, especially the the second set of DLC was really fun because like each episode was a different map,
right,
so it was kind of neat seeing different areas.
yeah. So my question is, and try to not get any spoilers away, but if you play the male in the game, is his sister? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they just swap
they
places
swap
in
them?
the story.
Okay, that's what I
basically.
figured.
So it's like you play one, you're the player character, then the other one takes that spot in the
Okay.
storyline. Whereas
That's what I
if you
figured. And
chose the other one at the beginning, it'd be the other way around.
I can't imagine her being I'm playing her, and I can't imagine her being him. You know what I mean? It just.
Well, part of it is if you do it that way, he is very, very cartoony, over the top with his performance, whereas you have him as the player character. It's dialed back a little bit.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And I didn't play long enough with him because I played a little bit with him, and I was like, nah. I didn't get enough to see where she would show up in the story.
Gotcha.
So I don't know how her performance would be. I'm sure it's probably good because hers, the player character, is awesome.
Yeah, I need to look it up on the old YouTube and see if I can, just out of curiosity. But
yeah, this game is like the best Assassin's Creed story they've done in several games. Maybe, and it ranks up there in the series, I think, too.
Yeah,
overall, it's just like this is one of the better told stories that they've done.
Yeah. I really like 2. 2 is still,
2 is very good.
It's probably still it and Black Flag are right there. And this
Black Flag is fun, but story wise, I don't think the story in Black Flag isn't anywhere near as good of a story as some of the other games. But the gameplay and all that in that game is a lot of fun.
So and I hadn't done much with the boats. And I'm going from whatever I was at to Athens, and it was like, oh, I'm on my way to Athens. Oh, these guys are easy, just more, and then all of a sudden I get to Athens, it's like, holy crap, I'm getting my butt whipped. It's like, maybe I should have done some of those side missions before I left. I was going to come back and do them, but
most of this boat stuff was easy because I kind of skipped a lot of it to start with, and then by the time I was like, okay, there's going to be some stuff I have to do in the boat, and oh hey, I've got all these resources piled up, let me just upgrade a ton all at once.
And I hadn't done any upgrading on the boat. It's like I need to probably do that now. But
the sad thing is, like, the boat, if you want to do a lot of it, you have to do all the stuff on the ground in order to upgrade the boat because you don't get many resources out in the sea.
Right.
Like even sinking some of the ships, you get some, but it's not nearly as much as you do just randomly riding your horse around and grabbing every tree and rock that you find, just running around in the
So what you're
hillsides.
saying
You'll
is
get
you need
way
to,
more.
You need to invest the time in the
Yeah.
game before you can really get into it, before you can really advance, right? You can't just go.
Not really.
Well,
I didn't
no.
find that. I've heard people say that, but like, nah. I don't know. Maybe it's
Interesting.
just the way I play them that
I mean,
I never had any gating
I've
issues on
always
that game.
wanted to play Odyssey or Origins, and then I'm just like, the time commitment. But
Skip
everybody seems to
Origins.
like them.
Yeah.
Origins doesn't have superpowers, so
Origins is the
it
Egyptian one, right?
yes,
Yeah.
it's cool. It doesn't have as much variety in the map, and it doesn't have any of the fun stuff that Odyssey throws in for like kind of your different ability powers, basically.
Yeah. It's what what was funny was last night I was going from point A to point B, and I don't remember. I come across this section, and I mean there was animals everywhere. There was tons of bears, tons of elk. And I didn't do anything for 45 minutes but kill everything in that valley because it was like I need all the hide I can get. And it was
Tons.
like I ended up walking out of there with like 300 pieces of leather, of hide. It was like, holy crap. It was like, kill a bear, kill a boar, kill this guy.
Upgrade all these armor pieces.
Yeah, because that's what I've got an armor set that I really like the buffs of. So every time I level up, I just level up the armor with it instead of swapping out armor pieces.
The way that game goes, though, you can like wait a few levels before you actually pay to
Right.
upgrade some of the stuff. You don't
Change
have
your
to worry
game.
about it that
The
much.
trouble is if you wait too long, then it's like 200 pieces of leather to upgrade this.
Yeah, but you
one
have like a
piece.
bunch of the leather doesn't upgrade your armor. Like your armor sets, you pay to keep them
Yeah.
up to the level. It's not resources there. The other is like different pieces. Like you get bigger satchels, and you can carry
Yeah.
more ammo and all that. That's what those things are for.
Yeah, so, but yeah, so I'm still having a good time with it. But and then the other game that I did stop playing Assassin's Creed long enough to play was Streets of Rage when it came up on Xbox One X. I was going to buy it on Switch, but I actually bought the limited run physical version, so it'll be 3 months before it gets here. So I'll play it on Xbox for now, and I worried about the art style in that game. When I saw all the trailers, I was like, the art style is kind of... But I'm kind of sold on it now after actually playing it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was worried at first, too, just because, I mean, Streets of Rage has always had fantastic pixel art also.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird seeing that art style, but when you see it in motion and you play it for yourself, it really flows really well.
Yeah, it really does. I was surprised. Yeah, so I've
So it's it all 3D polygons and stuff that they're using
Yeah, it looks like
in the
they're doing
game
neon
instead of
colors.
sprites.
Go ahead.
Kind of like Ori and the new Ori game where it's actually 3D so that they can have more fluid motion and stuff versus the first Ori game where it was sprites for the main character. I was wondering if they did that here where they're doing that so they can do more with the animations and stuff.
Well, it looks 2D to me, so I mean, it's possible that they might have rendered it in 3D. And just
I mean, like Ori even doesn't look super like 3D, but it's just like if you can make it look more 2D, but you can basically do all the stuff with polygons, or not with polygons, with like rigs and stuff. If it's 3D models versus sprites, you have to like do every single animation pre-canned. It's just a little more flexible. But I was just curious if they've done that this game or not. They might not have. I have no idea.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
Isn't this by the same team, or at least some of the team that made the Monster Boy remake as well?
I think so. I think it's the same team, honestly.
That was all fully animated, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, it was. It was fully hand-drawn animated. Let's see.
So that might still be the case with Streets of Rage, then, unless they took a different approach. But
let me see, because I want to say that it's the same people, because I remember when they first announced it, I was like, oh, somebody not Sega's doing Streets of Rage, who in the world didn't? And then when they were like, oh, it's by so-and-so, I'm like, oh, okay, well, they'll do a good job.
I think they might have put some of the... No, maybe I'm crazy. I'm trying to think, like, maybe they put some of the Sonic Mania team on there, too. Either way, I know that, like, this has pretty much got the same Sonic Mania treatment, where this was basically made by a bunch of fans. Basically, that Sega just funded, and it ended up being such a great game with getting stellar reviews
Well,
everywhere.
it's Lizard Cube and dot emu, and they both worked on the Wonder Boy.
Wonderful. Gotcha.
Yeah, they both were, or Monster Boy. Sorry, I said Wonder Boy, but that they both.
I get confused. I mean,
well, Wonder Boy,
Wonder Boy,
Monster Bunny,
yeah.
it's the same thing, but it's actually Wonder Boy. I always do that. I always get it backwards, which one's which, but it's Wonder Boy and the Dragons. They also did Windjammer.
I'm still getting over Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds. So
yeah,
it's okay.
I do the same thing. And I've done that. I've done that with Monster Boy and Wonder Boy for 30 years. I've always got those. I always flip those two back and forth all the time. It never fails. So, but yeah, it's the same. I thought it was the same because after I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, Sega gave their blessing, and so it should be fine. And yeah, I mean, the music's.
And that's quality.
And
you can turn on the retro soundtrack too.
Yep, it's got the full retro soundtrack, so you can play all. It plays all the old Streets of Rage, 1, 2, and 3, mostly 2 soundtrack, and it's all available for free on Amazon Music if you got Amazon Music or Apple Music or Spotify. So
yeah, I checked it out on Amazon Music. I'm pretty impressed.
Yep, but I have not beat it yet. I got
stuck on the boss after the elevator. That's where I got stuck on regular difficulty.
I don't remember what level it was. I did the boat. Maybe it's the level after the boat. Golly, I can't remember.
I won't spoil for you, but the end is interesting and challenging. Be prepared.
Yeah. I need to look up a guide to unlock the retro levels so you can play it retro style.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the character. You can unlock the retro characters.
Yeah, like a VHS mode, something like that.
Unlock. I think you can't. I don't know how to unlock the retro levels. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I don't know. I've unlocked a lot of the characters. It's the retro level locations that I need to find because I just kind of been playing through it.
The retro arcade things are cool. If you come across those, and you tase the arcade machine, it drops you back into like Streets of Rage 1 or 2, and that's kind of neat. You can tinker with that.
Yeah. 12 stages. Okay. So I may not even be halfway through. I don't know. But yeah, I really got to get I want to play those retro ones too. They look really cool. So, but yeah, I mean, it's an awesome game. I can't wait to get a physical version of it for the Switch. I'm anxious to see how it runs on the Switch as it compared to it runs on the Xbox. So, but the 4-player co-op online sounds pretty cool too.
Yeah, I definitely want to try that.
It looks and runs fantastic on Switch. I think it's probably just the same on all platforms.
I'm sure. I can't imagine it's not super graphic and
right. Exactly.
Intensive,
yeah.
So.
It looks and runs great. I tried it in both handheld mode and TV mode as I was reviewing it, and it looks. Yeah. I mean, it's crisp on both. So I would imagine it's probably the same. Other than probably a 4K upscale.
Well, yeah, I mean, I played it on Xbox One. It's got a 4K upscale on it, so it is. Exactly. It looks a little. I'm sure it looks a little crisper than it does on the Switch, but
for sure.
I can upgrade the Switch to 1440p as well, so it will just look crisp there as well.
I forgot you had that little adapter.
Yeah, I've got
thing.
that little M Classic thing.
Yeah, it only does so much. Though.
Yeah, it only does so much. It just cleans it up, and there's just upscale. So
upgrades and upgrade.
That's fine.
I was actually watching a Digital Foundry video on that thing today. Like they put one out today for some reason.
Oh, they put it out today? Really? Okay.
Yeah, it showed up. I was like, hey, that's the thing that John was talking about. I'm gonna watch some of this video.
What did they say about it? I haven't watched it. I haven't watched my.
They said from all the stuff they were testing, it depends on the game. A lot of what all it's actually able to do.
Yeah.
And the lower res stuff gets cleaned up a bit more, or stuff that has like defined edges a lot more. It does a lot more, but stuff like Mario Odyssey or something, it's not really going to do all that much for. So yeah,
Mario Odyssey and stuff like that doesn't. Yeah. Now PlayStation 3 stuff, and I sent Dennis some pictures. Like I booted up like NCAA 14, and it had a lot of rough edges on on PlayStation 3. Plus, it was only 720p. So to bump it up to 1440 and smooth those edges, yeah, it was crazy. But that's what I use it for. I use it more for old stuff like GameCube and PlayStation 3
Yeah.
and Xbox 360 and stuff like that. But I mean, I've run it through my PlayStation 4 just to see while we were playing, Red Dead Redemption, online, just to see if I could tell any difference. And I really can't, because what's bad is that thing will strip the HDR. So if it's a game that supports HDR, you're not going to get, it's not going to look any different, even though it's bumping it up to 1440. You actually get a little better picture with the HDR than you do with just the bump up in resolution. So, but yeah, it's a fine line. I don't use it on 8-bit and 16, but anything from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 3, that era stuff, that's what I use it on. And
I want to see Mario 64. That's what I want to see.
I don't know.
It'll look dated because just the way that game is made is so few polygons compared to nowadays. Anything from that era looks like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting it to turn into, Galaxy all of a sudden, but
I wish it would.
Yeah.
I wish it would, but it does. It'll clean up some of that garbage. But
it's crazy.
Oh my god!
Or kind of like if they did it where they had the Ocarina of Time on 3DS or whatever. It looks kind of how you imagine it in your head, how it looked back then. And then you go to the original. You're like,
bless you,
Gesundheit.
Whoever sneezed there. It was.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, I think, I guess for me, it's just a matter of like wanting to smooth out those edges. Because Nintendo, I don't know what it is with Nintendo and anti-aliasing, but they have they got drama, they got beef. And Nintendo doesn't.
The reason is because Nintendo, well, at least for the most recent systems, is that they're not as up to date hardware wise, and anti-aliasing can put a nice performance cut in there, and they're like
a ×4, man. I'm not asking for much.
It's not just Nintendo necessarily, though, but yeah, it's certainly something with their systems. Because man, think of say Astral Chain with just a little bit of anti-aliasing in that game would make it look a lot less messy.
Yeah.
Because it's a very busy looking game with, getting all them jaggies to make it even more busy.
Like the photo mode was so disappointing because I was like, I can't take a good shot because everything just looks. It looks like everything was made with like a pencil almost, with all the jaggies everywhere. It's. I can't. I can't with it. So many potentially beautiful shots that are just ruined because it just looks like it's in like 240p. I'm like, come on, I can't with it.
And see, in some things with the M Classic like that, it'll take those jaggies out. But you have newer stuff like that, you have a hard time noticing it. Maybe in photo mode, you would notice it more, in a still than you would in action. But it's $100. I still recommend it if you have a plethora of era games that you play. If you're constantly one of those people that I've got the newest thing, the old thing goes, and then the new thing comes in, don't worry about it. It's not worth it. But if you play older stuff and keep older stuff, it's worth a look into. It really is.
All my older stuff that I still play is on PC, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, console wise, but
it's like I don't have any old console stuff.
Yeah. So, but I noticed a notification came through for Digital Foundries. I didn't click on it on YouTube to see what the video was, so it's funny that they put that up. So I'll have to watch that. So, but
yeah, they had leaned a little more towards like Switch stuff that they were testing, I think. But yeah.
It's what a lot of people use it for, and it's fine if you have a 4K TV and you just want to upscale just to 1440. I mean, it's fine.
But I mean, some of it they're showing side by side shot comparisons, and I'm like, you can't tell it.
No, it's hard to tell. it's hard to tell.
They're like, we're zoomed in 200% or whatever there are, and look at this, and like it looks the same, guys.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to tell. It's like I say, the PS3. Saturn era stuff, that's PS2, that's
it's all going to be like a game by game basis too. Like,
and some games,
just because of the way that they're visually look, are going to be able to be cleaned up a little easier based on whatever processing's in that thing. So
right,
Some are going to be not as good.
Yep. So, Dennis, what have you been playing besides Animal Crossing and Streets of
Besides,
Rage?
okay, yeah. Besides Animal Crossing. God, what have I been playing? What did I write down just to make sure?
Forza 4 or Forza Horizon 4, I should say.
That's right. I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 4. Finally, I mean, I played a little bit of it back when it came out, but it just kind of came out at a bad time for me. So I was never really able to invest a lot of time into it like I did with Horizon 3 and just every other Forza game, really. Every Forza game, I can't put down for some reason. It's just too good. But Horizon 4 just came out at a bad time. So now finally I'm getting back to it, and it's just, I'm late to the party, but it's incredible.
It's so good.
It is. It is very good.
Absolutely fantastic. It is beautiful as well. I mean, it is just absolutely stunning, and
when I got
feels good.
When I got the Xbox One X in, it was, I brought the wife downstairs, sat down, and said, "Okay, here's what I spent my money on, and I want you to see why." To play Forza Horizon 4 at 60 frames per second on a 4K TV, and now
sort of like, yeah, it's shiny. All right, whatever.
Yeah. I kept running into what was bad was I kept running into stone walls. It was like, I was like, oh crap, I can't keep the car on the road. I'm not making a good impression here. But
that game is one where if you have the wrong car, it can really screw you over. Just because some cars, the way they handle, you're gonna naturally like them better than other ones, which is nice because a lot of games they feel all the same. Not in Forza, they're all different. Depending on what car you're driving.
Well, and I like more of a tighter steering, and I didn't turn my my sticks, the tightness on my sticks up any, so I was still had them loosey goosey anyway from playing Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. It's like when I play racing games, I like to take that and notch those sticks up all the way, because then I don't have to. I can move them a little more and still get the range of motion. Almost like when I'm driving a vehicle in real life, I prefer tight steering. I prefer it to be tight and precise. I don't like to have to drive it like an old time car where I've got to where I'm moving my arms around up and down. I just like to barely I'm a one-handed driver, so I like to just have my hand on the steering wheel. If it's the tighter it is, the better for me. So
you have to use your feet to turn it too. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, when I'm eating, it's sometimes you have to do that. I mean, you just put your knees on the steering wheel, and it's good. But I'm only going 70 miles an hour down the interstate. It's fine. It's a straight line. Don't worry about it.
Talk to me when we start doing 120.
Yeah, really. But anyway, so you're playing Forza. We got way off of your Forza.
No, it's okay. I've been playing a lot of Forza. It is stunning. It's beautiful. I put so many hours into Forza Horizon 3, so hopefully I can do the same here with Forza Horizon 4. Time willing. So, it plays great, feels great. It's so much fun. The map is fantastic. The UK looks just so beautiful, and all the the seasons. That's what it is. It's the seasons, except for winter. We don't need to talk about winter, but spring, summer,
like winter.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, the winter it's too much ice skating for me. It's too much ice skating.
See, it doesn't matter because what I'm doing is just running around the open world anyway. So I'm just like jumping off of hills and just like pedaling out and around everywhere. So I don't have to be precise unless I'm actually doing a race.
Right.
It is beautiful though. Like when I did get to the winter mode in the beginning, it was. I was like, wow, like that looks like the powder looks really great. It's very, very beautiful. It already looked good in Horizon 3 when they had the Blizzard Mountain DLC. So, but it looks like exceptional in Horizon 4. So, but yeah, I don't have the Ultimate Edition, but I do have the Car Pass and the VIP pass on it, and that's been helping a lot in terms of getting credits and just seeing all these amazing stunning cars and how they work on just various locations, because everything's gonna Forza's so brilliantly made where it's just like it's not they're just so good. Like that team is just so good at coding and developing that everything feels, even though Horizon's meant to be their more arcade style of Forza. It still feels authentic, of
Yeah.
just sliding everywhere the way you would expect the inertia to go, so on and so forth. So, whether you're on dirt or just regular pavement, or ice, of course, where you're just going to be ice skating. Once if you're going super super fast, then bam, just like run straight into a pond or something like that. Just that force of like being taken back is and it just looks so good, in the water particles, and oh my god, it's just so good. It's
Yeah.
so everything about that game is just beautiful, absolutely.
Seeing
beautiful.
as how Burnout Paradise is my favorite racing game of all time, when I got Forza Horizon 4, I'm like, where's all the big ramps? Let's go.
Right. And they put a decent amount in there too.
There's quite a few. There's some
Yeah.
fun ones. There's just like and they balance them just right with the goals that you're trying to hit when you're jumping off of it. You're like, oh man, I'm just like 20 meters short. I know I can hit this. Yeah.
Right. And you just go right back, do it again. But it's just, and that game just feels. I mean, I know it just, with all the dailies that you can do and the weekly stuff and all the events and stuff like that, it just feels like it's endless. They gave you such an incredible package to make you last until the next Forza, and they're pretty good about updating it pretty frequently as well. Like, even not just with DLC, but just making sure everything's tuned and staying patched and nothing's getting too crazy and so on and so forth. So,
the next Horizon, I guess, will not be out till probably 21. Usually it's 1 year's Horizon, and the next year is
it's
regular
like, where
Forza.
are we ready for a regular Forza?
I think
now?
we're ready for a regular Forza.
Yeah, but because we didn't get one this year. Oh, sorry, we didn't get one in 2019.
No, we got Horizon in 2019. Or what did we get?
They skipped last year. Yeah, 2019.
Did they skip it all? Okay, I couldn't remember how long Horizon's been out.
Yeah, 2018. But you're right though. They usually fluctuate. Like 1 year it's Horizon, the next year it's Motorsport. But last year there was nothing. So hopefully we get something this year. Especially with Series X coming out.
Surely there's going to be a Forza launch
title. That'll be
after launch title.
I figure the two launch games for first party games for Xbox is going to be Forza and Halo, I would think.
Halo, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's already been confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Forza's the other one. Yeah, I guess it was 2018. Wow, I thought it was 2019. Wow, that's crazy.
It's because they've kept updating it so much that
I guess so. Yeah,
I mean, the Lego DLC came out not even that long ago. So
no, it came out, and maybe that's why I was thinking 2019, just because of Lego.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, usually it's every other one. So yeah,
that's right. Yeah, but 2019 it was really odd. But honestly, I don't mind. Because like Horizon is just one of those games that you can just it's got so much content. So it's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I remember when Horizon 3 came out, and then Motorsport 7 came out the following year. I was like, I'm still playing Horizon 3, man. Like, I've been playing for a year straight. I'm still playing Horizon 3. It's so good. Yeah. And then I went to Motorsport 7, played that for a little bit. It was fine. There was a big fiasco with how they handled the loot boxes and whatnot, but went back to Horizon 3. But it's, and Motorsport 7 was for what it's worth, really, really good. But, I'm more of a Horizon guy. I prefer the arcade style and the open world and stuff like that versus, kind of set tracks and whatnot.
See, and I'm more of a like Forza Motorsports. I like Horizon. It's fun. I have a good time with it, but I'm more of I like to be on a racetrack. I like to
sure. Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, not me. I'm definitely arcade all the way. I wish there was a new Burnout game coming because, man, I miss those.
My favorite Burnout, I think, still to this day, still Burnout 3 Takedown.
Then again,
so long with that.
I don't want current EA making a Burnout game, so it's fine. Yeah, I think it just depends on which type of game you prefer over the other. Someone's either going to say Burnout 3 or Burnout Paradise is their favorite Burnout.
Yeah.
Forza, once I started playing Forza, it's hard. Whenever you play another racing game, it's just hard. It's just because of how much of a masterclass Forza is. You can't help but be like, why am I playing this? No matter how good a racing game is, it's like, I need to go back. I'm just going to go back to Forza.
That was the way I was with Gran Turismo. It was always Gran Turismo. But then it kind of got to the point where Gran Turismo was a drought. They went so long without a Gran Turismo, a true Gran Turismo game. And then Forza came in on Xbox and 360 and stuff like that. It's like, well, I don't even need Forza, or I don't even need Gran Turismo anymore. And then the past couple Gran Turismos came out, never even bought them, never even played them. It's like, why? I've got Forza. So
Forza should have a third series that's completely arcade. So they have like the arcade, you have the sim, and you have the one in the middle that's Horizon.
yeah, that'd be all right. I could deal with that.
Because man, Horizon you could play it more arcadey, but it's still not the same as like Burnout. Like I remember taking so much time, so many attempts, and however many hours trying to go around the highway in Paradise, doing like a full loop without crashing, and how far I can get the burnouts to go, like to chain without. Oh man, the game's so good. It's so fast.
Yeah,
Like
it really is.
if you're going down the highway and you're going against oncoming traffic and you're boosting at the fastest that you can in one of the late game cars that goes super super fast, it's like white knuckle. You're just like, oh god, oh crap, I just there's and the thing with that game too is you have like the different sections. They had like I think 4 different main sections, and each border has like the toll gates that you have to go through.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And random traffic could be in each one, so you have to like make a split-second decision on which one are you going to go through. If you choose wrong, or you just don't hit it right, you're going to clip it, and you just like crash and burn. But when I finally did it, it was one of those moments where you're just like, yes, I can't believe I finally did that. I think there was an achievement for doing like a burnout of 20, I think a chain of 20, and like that's insane.
Yeah,
to do in that game because there's just so many little things that can catch you and just make you just completely crash. Like that's another thing. I'd like to see what the Forza team would do if they didn't have licensed cars so that they could destroy the crap out of them.
Yeah, that would be interesting too. Yeah. Who knows?
That's what's fun about the Burnout games. This is like if you don't have licenses, you can just crash them. They can be just a husk.
Yeah.
If you get them to make, because this is one of my favorite racing games, if you get them to make split second, then
that'd be cool.
Bring that back. Oh Jesus! Oh my god!
That was a game that was really cool that just didn't get enough traction. Sadly.
No, the studio shut down too. Well, because Disney was like, we're not making games anymore because we'll probably just make money just licensing out our property. So we'll just do that.
Yeah.
That was a Disney studio or Disney made game. Was split second, and yeah, God, it's such a shame because at the end of Split Second they set it up for a second one and we just never got it because the studio shut down, and yeah, it was just unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucked. Yeah, there was a lot of things with that whole Disney thing that sucked, but
yeah.
But so what else have you been playing? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, Streets of Rage, of course. We won't go too much into that just because I feel like it looks like most of us have been playing Streets of Rage, so I won't go too much into that. But it is. I mean, and you explained it great too. It was just like it looks great. It's a ton of fun to play, and you still kind of get that old school nature of it as well. It very much feels like Streets of Rage, just with a new coat of polish.
It really does. It's so weird. I was not expecting that at all.
Neither was I. When I started playing it, I was like, okay. And then by the end of stage 1, I was already sold. I was like, this is amazing. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Streets of Rage 4 as well. But yeah, the only other one I've really been playing is Trials of Mana. Trials of Mana, getting around to that, and it is a genuine remake. It's not my biggest problem with Secret of Mana and Adventure of Mana when Square Enix remade those, was they were pretty much just 1-1 conversions. It was a remake in the sense of like, oh, it's fully 3D now, but it was essentially the same game. It wasn't anything new. It was, they had a little bit of polish to it, maybe some quality of life things, but overall, nothing felt different. It was just like, here's the 3D version of that game that we had 20 years ago. But this is a genuine remake, and it feels great. All the with all the voice acting, and not that the voice acting is particularly good, but it's there, and just with the design of the world, and the graphics are great. It looks really good on Switch. I've been playing it on Switch. And the game was made in Unreal Engine 4. It looks gorgeous. If you're playing it on PC or anywhere else. But all things considered, because I remember like I really wanted it on Switch at first before it came out, and then but thankfully they released the demo, and then I was like, you know what, I'm okay with the way it looks and the way it performs. It actually is like, it's all stable. It looks good. They pretty much kind of gave it more or less the same treatment that Dragon Quest got when Dragon Quest S came out. So yeah, it got love and it got attention. So it works great, looks great. Obviously it's not super crisp as it could be, like it is on the other platforms, but
Right.
all things considered, it's great, and it's a fantastic handheld game too. Because I played the other Mana games on my Game Boy Color, my Game Boy Advance, and my DS.
Yeah.
So Mana's never been a console game for me. So, so having that on the Switch is like, I'm willing to take those, because they're just little visual sacrifices anyway. So, nothing super egregious. So I'm willing to take that, for the sake of having that portability.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, no, Trials of Mana is really fantastic. You have like 6, 7, maybe 8 characters to choose from, and you can choose 3, kind of like Octopath Traveler, a little bit. But and they all have their own story too, and they all intertwine like Octopath Traveler. And it's really interesting. So they definitely took some creative liberties, but no different from like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, like how Capcom, did it with those. But for what it's worth, I mean, that game is like, if you're in the mood for a solid JRPG right now, Trials of Mana is probably your go-to at the moment. It's really solid, really great. So,
it's one I want to pick up. I just hadn't.
Yeah, it's worth picking up, I promise.
And I know I'm not going to play it right now, so it's like, well, I'm not going to pick it up.
Yeah.
I've got too much other stuff going, too many other games going on right now to try to play.
I haven't put as many hours into it as I want to, mainly because it's just like, I mean, there's that beast Animal Crossing that came out last month, and I just can't stop. Stop. So
curse you, Tom Nook.
Well, and then I've got Xenoblade coming out the end of the month, and then Wonderful 101 was supposed to. It got pushed back to
that's right.
June or
Xenoblade. If Xenoblade gets ported one more time to Nintendo, whatever Nintendo's next console is, that will be their Skyrim. Yeah. I'm convinced that will be their Skyrim at this point, because this is their second definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
Like,
the Wii one? Is this the one that?
Yes, this is one that was original. So the
Wii, there was like 3DS, and then now here.
I never played it on the Wii because it was so expensive on the Wii. It was
especially you. Yeah. It was like double.
It was weird. It was like it came out and then nobody bought it, so it kind of got hot. It didn't get a lot of print, and then they brought it out on the 3DS, and I played it on the 3DS. Got about halfway through. Really enjoyed it on the 3DS, but I really would rather play it on a big screen. And I almost bought the Wii version on the Wii U back in the day because you could play it without using the Wiimotes. You could actually use a controller on it. I'm like, okay, good, because that's my main gripe with a lot of the Wii games is I don't want to use the Wiimote. Motion control. Yeah, so, and I just never did. And then when they said, well, it's coming to Switch, I'm like, okay, good. Then I'll play it on Switch because it's a fantastic game and I would like to finish it. So, so there'll be another 60-hour RPG that I'm going to have to, while I'm probably still playing Assassin's Creed at the time. So it's like, I'm not figuring on being done with Assassin's Creed anytime soon. So.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed's better than Xenoblade.
Oh, I'm sure.
Gauntlet Throne.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. So Eric, what have you been playing besides Streets of Rage 4?
Oh yeah, Streets of Rage 4. I think I've been playing just a little bit of that. As we talked about, it's fun. It's cool. I would have to say that I mentioned this before the show. Is like I miss the dash from Resident Evil. I got Resident Evil in the brain from Streets of Rage 3, but still having a good time. I really like Adam's character. I think he's kind of the perfect. You have to unlock him, but it's the perfect fit between Blaze and Axel. I prefer a faster character. Right. Ideally, that's my play style. It's good. Everything's great. It's fun to retro. I mean, if you've never played Streets of Rage, play this. It's great. I double dipped. Well, I mean, we got a review code, but I also bought a physical copy too because I like the game a lot and I wanted to have a physical copy.
Yeah, I did too because I've got right here is 1, 2, and 3.
I've got 3 and 1.
Yeah, I know. It's easy to see. What's that?
I do not have a case and manual. I do not have a case and manual for 3, and I've looked and looked. I'll probably have to buy another copy of 3, most likely.
I've got case and instructions, I think, for all of them except 3. I've got the case. I just don't have the instructions for the third one.
I have Streets of Rage 1 and Sega 6-pack. I guess that's okay. It's kind
Yeah, it's fine. It's
good enough.
Yeah.
I do also have a Streets of Rage 2 hat cart too that I bought at a show. It's Streets of Rage 2 and The Simpsons. It's a pretty good game. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
It kind of it's definitely broken with some of the Simpsons characters.
Oh, I'm
like,
sure.
Oh, that's interesting. But yeah, Streets of Rage 4 has been. I have it on Steam, so if any of our listeners, you got it on Steam, add me. Same username as Twitter, Cube00. I would love to play with somebody. Try some of the multiplayer.
I saw somebody on one of the PVM Facebook pages that I play or I follow. They took the Streets of Rage 4 on the Switch, run it through a converter to downscale it to 240p so they could play it on a PVM with scan lines.
Cool.
It looked freaking fantastic.
That's definitely taking things in different.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay, so they downgraded that sucker to 240p, and it looked really good. It looked like it was playing on a Genesis, scan lines, everything. It was like, of course it was on a CRT, so it would, but it's like, holy fright, somebody actually downgraded that thing to 240p so it would fit on the PVM.
Pretty funny. I can definitely get behind and cheer for that because that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, all right, so let's cover some of the other stuff. Still playing Divinity: Original Sin 2. I'm at the last island. The third island, very quick, much quicker than the second one. We blazed through that in like a night, so maybe 3.5 hours, and we did most everything. So on the last island, my co-op partner's getting a little burnt out. He's mentioned it a couple times, but good co-op games are hard to find.
Plus, you're at the end. Just suck it up and finish it. Oh my gosh, we put 40 hours in this thing, and we're at it's like you're at the last boss, and you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm burned out.
I'll get back to this in 6 months. 3 years.
If you attempt that final boss and it screws you over, then fine, throw it away.
I'm fine with that. If you attempt it,
I've totally never ever done that before.
Yeah, I never have either.
I've done that a few times.
Persona 5, cough, cough.
Or you set the game aside for a year because you were like, I'm done. I can't get to the end. There's too much left. And then you fire back up and realize you were 20 minutes away from it. Really? Thanks. I knew I should have looked at the guide. I've decided, though, if I give this game another run, which I think I will, I'm definitely going to roll like a rogue scoundrel character, maybe a polymorph character. Everything else has been pretty good. I mean, you only need like one tank, but unfortunately on our party we have 2 tanks, and I'm like, definitely redundancy. Could have used another ranged character, but it's been good. Great game. Let's see. I took advantage of the Game Pass deal on PC. It was $1 for a month, and I had signed up for it before, probably like 6 months ago, and just never used it. But a month came around for $1. I'll try it again. I played some Chroma Squad. Contra meets like Metal Slug. I played Ruiner, which I have a physical copy of. I do not really like Ruiner. Played it for like an hour, and I was like, it's just a top-down like shooter. It doesn't really grab me. It has some kind of interesting little techniques, but no. I played Guacamelee too. Let me tell you, I'm a big fan of the first game, and I had not played the second game, and it is amazing. Almost good enough where I was like, I don't own this on anything else. If I pay for Game Pass on PC for another month, I could probably finish it. I like it. I like the music, the art style in that game. The combat's fun.
I like Guacamelee.
So light and humorous, easy to play. Can be challenging though, but it's not a total punishment like some other platforming games. Right. Let's see. We got a review code for Obey Me from Blowfish Studios, and I played a little bit of that on Steam. Just a top-down like action game. It's not bad. It's entertaining. I played a demo of it at PAX and stuff, so I knew a code was coming. But that's it. I'm playing lots of stuff and really liking that Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, I am too.
I need to get back to Baldur's Gate 2. I only have 2 more areas left, probably another 20 hours or so, and I just got to muscle down, slog through that interface.
Slog through the interface.
Yeah, it's like we had a couple shows ago. I was like, oh, Shadowrun. No, it's slow paced because it's turn-based tactical, and then I fire Baldur's Gate. I'm like, oh, it's real time, but the interface has the similar sort of problems.
Yep.
Also, more inventory space. I can't in Divinity. I can't complain. You have all the inventory space in the world, and you can sort it easily. Baldur's Gate, there's no sorting, manually moving stuff, and you're limited to 12 or 16 slots for each character, and it fills up fast. Stuff doesn't stack either very well.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's what I've been playing.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into some of the news real quick. Not a whole lot going on, but there's a couple things I thought might be interesting to talk about. Sony says it knows who leaked The Last of Us Part 2, and it wasn't a Sony ex-Sony employee or anything like that. So for anybody that been following that this week, there has been a huge uproar on social media about this, to the point of some people are demanding refunds. They don't want to buy the game because they know the ending now, or so they think they do.
Why did you look up the spoilers, then, you morons?
Exactly. Nobody held a gun to
hey,
that.
there's some spoilers out there. Avoid. Get off Twitter. Get off anything.
I saw the news break about it, but I never saw anything about spoilers. And yes, it sucks. It stinks. But I probably wasn't going to play the game anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah, but it's one of those things
I
that
like all the spoilers.
Yeah,
the experience of playing it is way different than reading it.
Exactly.
Sure, you know some stuff ahead of time, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be completely worthless to play now. You're like, yeah, sure, there's some surprises maybe that are going to be ruined that would be like hit harder. But then again, like, what if you're playing the game the second time through? You're like, a lot of people play the first Last of Us many times through, so like, sure, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
Well, and then so I want to know is how, because apparently
and you can avoid them.
Yeah, well, apparently, this was leaked level footage and of internal builds of the game and cut scenes and stuff. That was a lot of the leak stuff. So if it wasn't somebody at Naughty Dog and it wasn't somebody employed by Sony, who in the world and how in the world did they get this? That's what I want to know. The rumor was
we'll find out eventually. I'm sure.
Eventually, yeah. At first, it was somebody who was a disgruntled employee or something like that wasn't being paid. So now it's like, okay, if it's not that, then I want to know who it is.
Neil Druckmann put out a tweet saying that he is very much looking forward to talking about it when he can, once the game comes out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Because that interests me a lot. Is like, okay, well then, how in the world did this happen?
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, who knows what it is this time around, but it's the same level of interest as back in the day when Half-Life 2 leaked out before that game came. And like, if you go back and look at the actual history, now that we know pretty much all the pieces of it, it's like, wow, that's very interesting story.
Yeah, see,
you can look into. I wonder if this will develop to be the same, or if it'll just be something dumb like, oh, whoops, I accidentally left a drive somewhere.
Yeah, I hope it's interesting. Just with everything going on around it, I hope it's interesting. I hope it's not something stupid like, oh, I meant to wipe that hard drive and put it back over here, and I didn't, and somebody figured it out.
Yeah, I can't imagine they put it up on like Dropbox or something, and someone just hacked into,
No, I can't imagine that either. But I don't know.
Just like the AMVs or the video files.
Speaking of things leaking out a little early, Indivisible, that's been out on pretty much everything, finally came to Switch the other day. Yeah. It totally got published without the devs' knowledge to it or anything, and it's a old build of the game. So there's lots of broken stuff in it, and it's not finished. Yet they're still charging whatever price for it, and I think it's even on sale in the shop, the eShop. So yeah, I saw this the other day when it came out, because I've been waiting for this to come out specifically on Switch, because I have it on Game Pass, but it's like, it's a really cool game that I would like to play on Switch. And it was an automatic release tool that apparently nobody had changed it, and it was set to trigger April 28th, and nobody postponed it to the May date, and it just launched automatically on the eShop. So, and once it was up, they didn't take it down because they'll just patch it and everybody will be fine with it. But,
I mean, it's probably because it's not that long between the time that it released and the time that they wanted to put it out, like the delayed date. If it had been longer than like a week or two, they probably would have taken it back.
It was hilarious because I was just rolling through. I follow a lot of those guys on Twitter, and one of the devs, he was like, "Hey, our game launched today on the Switch and we weren't aware of it. It's not done yet, but here it is. And I went, what? And then I got to
Yeah, that was a funny photo. The lead designer's just holding up his Switch like,
just hold up a
out,
Switch like,
I
it's
guess.
out. I don't know how this happened, but here we are. It's like, because, you know, that's the funny thing is I never knew that's the way things worked on the Switch. I always figured that was controlled by Nintendo side. But like even sales are not controlled entirely by Nintendo. I've seen devs go, okay, we're going to knock our game down to one, you know, as low as we can knock it. We can knock it down to 1 penny and it'll be up in a few minutes. And they just do it on the computer there. They have access to all that.
Yeah.
So
it sounds similar to what like Steam is like. If you haven't watched the documentaries about Hades, or the other Supergiant games that No Clips have been putting out. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was something for like maybe Bastion or one of the earlier games, but they actually have some footage of them like when they're hitting publish and talking about all that stuff. So there's a lot of like different settings that you put in, and then you can be like, okay, go live basically. And
that's wild. See,
I'm sure there are tools to automate some of that too, but like,
you know, you always figured that stuff like that was done on the, you know, like on the Nintendo side or the Sony side. You know, the publisher, the dev would say, "Hey, this is what we want to do." Nintendo goes, "Okay, we'll take care of it." Do that.
I think in the past it probably was a little more like that, and then it's slowly gone away from that because that way is madness.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but you know,
I just coordinate some stuff too. You know, from when there's those like, you know, like Golden Week. Obviously, everyone's just like, oh, yeah, let's do something special for that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, even if nothing else, it takes a lot of that stuff off of like a group of people at Nintendo who have to publish all of the things.
Yeah.
There'd be so much stuff that you just couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And let alone that, and let alone something like Steam that has so many thousands and thousands of things coming out all the time. Like one, you know, company can't do all that. So you got to have it where it can be on the end of the people making it.
Yeah, it never crossed my mind that it was that way though.
Yeah.
You know, I just always assumed that's the way it was, and that's the way it always would be because they didn't want to relinquish that kind of, you know, power. But now that they have the ability to, it's like, hey, we don't have to worry about it. You go ahead and do whatever you want. You know, if you want to lose money, put that game down at a penny. It's fine. I don't care. We're still taking our 30% of that cent. So
we get paid first.
Yeah, or however that works. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla was announced this week. Did anybody
tune into the art stream? Because I did. That was awesome.
Well, I figured you would appreciate it.
I saw like 10.
Well, I have the interest on the side of I know Photoshop pretty well, so I can see a little bit of what he's doing. But even if it's just like, okay, tune in for a little bit and then go away and then come back like an hour or two later to see how much has changed.
Yeah.
Or like if you just pause like the YouTube video and then come back, you can just like skip ahead.
I guess
but they were doing that for like 8 hours.
Yeah, it was 8 hours. But I wasn't. So. I didn't think that was the way it was going to be. I got the press email from Ubisoft, and it was like, "Join us at 9 a.m. for the announcement of the next Assassin's Creed game." And so I hop on, and I'm like, "This is a guy doing Photoshop."
Less detailed than what I was seeing. On some of the places where it was all saying that like it's a street. He's going to do some art that will reveal the setting or something. I forget the wording on it. I was like, "Oh, cool! I want to see what it's like." So I tuned in early, like maybe less than an hour after he started.
Yeah.
And I saw like kind of like they had like a silhouette in the foreground in the middle, and then like a left side that's kind of blue. And at that point, I think it had like vague mountains in it. On the right side, it was just some like rolling green hills that hadn't been touched up or anything. And he was adding different stuff. And then like he eventually added like some soldiers and different things, but it's piecemeal the way he was doing it, like, oh, here's the thing, and then like, oh, it's bald, then we'll put some hair on it later, and then like, oh, we'll replace the middle silhouette with a completely different silhouette later because the one that they started with was different than later. And I think what it was they had him record it and then they just played it back live. It wasn't doing it live.
Well, it was like I tuned in at 9 o'clock and I was like, this is just a guy in Photoshop painting something. Okay, well, I'll check back.
With Odyssey music, though, man.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, I'll check. You know, I was busy doing other things, so I'm like, okay, I'll check back in an hour. I check back in an hour. I'm like, okay, this isn't an announcement. He's still painting. All right, well, I'll check back at noon. So I check back at noon. I'm like, oh my God, he's still painting. So
I knew it was going to take a long time because that type of stuff to get that fidelity takes quite a long time to do.
Well,
And I just had it on for the background music
Yeah.
while I was working. And I'd turn over to my other monitor to look at it.
Well, we went and went to the store or something, and came back, and I pulled it up. I'm like, he's still painting. I don't know what game. What kind of a game announcement is this? And then like at 4:00 in the afternoon, I'm like, there we go.
Yeah, so it's just him doing kind of like the key poster art or what have you, even if it's not poster, and putting it all together. But it's interesting, like he built the castle out of different pieces, and then he came back to it later and kind of ruined it and put more details in it. And he's got like people fighting, and then he put some boats in, and then later he came back and added all the like different parts to the boats, and then put people in the boats and added all the waves and splashing. And it's just being an artistic person, seeing how he does all that and was putting it together was kind of fun.
Yeah, and
I suspect that it was like he'd done it and then he deconstructed it so he could reconstruct it to do this 8-hour stream.
Yeah,
who knows?
I appreciate it, but I'm not an art guy, so it really didn't interest me that much. And what was funny was like at 9:00 there was like 40,000 people watching, and then I came back at 10 and there was like 5. It was like everybody went, "This isn't an announcement," and they left. It was like. But anyway,
you'd be surprised how many people like watch that kind of a thing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Like, so this one's just tied to a video game.
Yeah,
but it was nice that they like at the end's like, hey, here's the name of the game. You know what it's about, as far as just like it's a Vikings setting, and then we're gonna have a trailer the next day.
Yeah,
and then there was.
Yeah, and that trailer looked really, really good. Looked very, very cool.
The Assassin's Creed CG trailers are always nice looking.
Yeah, they really are. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch it.
The fun thing is they haven't even changed that much since the early games, because the CG trailers has always looked like super, super nice. It's just the game, like in-game graphics, have started getting closer and closer to what they can do with the CG.
And that's what I'm interested to see, is what those in-game graphics look like this time. Compared to the last. It's going to be on, of course, PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. I think it's even on
Xbox
Stadia, Series X. Yeah, Series X.
Yeah, who cares about Stadia? That's
Stadia, Uplay. It's exclusive to the Epic Game Store and the Ubisoft Store, so it's not going to be on Steam right away. They didn't say if that was going to be forever or not. Yeah, I know. In a way, I wasn't surprised, but I'm not surprised. The nice thing, though, the really cool thing is if you're an Xbox One player and you buy it on Xbox One, you automatically get the Xbox Series X version if you upgrade to a Series X. So that's nice that you only have to buy it one time if you stay in the Xbox family. So I'm hoping that a lot more publishers end up doing that. That's what I'm counting on. That's why I bought an Xbox One X.
I hope that they show off some of the aspects that they were talking about for, like, you have kind of like a home village that you're slowly building up and some other things like that they're talking about the game. I hope we see that in the gameplay.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Especially like rap battles, like what?
Yeah, I'm like, wait,
how's that a gameplay thing? Like, just the nature of those doesn't seem like it would translate to button presses really. Maybe it'll just be like a weird rhythm game. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Ubisoft had to throw something weird in their game this time around.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks really, really cool. Can't wait. I'm all about it. Comes out holiday, so
after Odyssey, this is like the perfect setting. You just go like God of War did, from like Roman mythology to Greek mythology to Norse mythology. Blah.
Yep. So it seems like the good way to go. First look at Xbox Series X third-party games is happening May 7th. During the Inside Xbox show that they do like once a month. Starts early, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. So I say early because usually I'm not doing anything. So if I'm up by 10, that's usually
like good. Early. That's like almost lunchtime. What are you talking about early?
Oh, that's brunch for me. I get up and have breakfast, lunch. I get up at 10.
I mean, that's early West Coast time.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. That's what I did. I looked at it first and saw the Pacific time before I saw the Eastern Standard Time, and went 8 a.m. and started to say, wow, 8 a.m. that's early, but I'd already sold into the early part, so I just said 11 is early. So, but yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. They're going to have next gen gameplay. They haven't said all the developers. but they said that Valhalla will be shown gameplay footage during the gameplay footage trailer during the Series X thing, so we'll be able to see some of the gameplay of that at least. Who knows what else we'll see? I'm sure we'll probably see maybe, well, it's all going to be third party, so you won't see any Halo, you won't see any Forza, anything like that. But
at this point, it seems like it would be overkill, but like Cyberpunk will probably be there.
I would think so. I would think they'll probably.
They've shown that game so many times at this point. They're just like, I don't need to see anymore. Just like let it come out, but it'll probably be there.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. They announced a 4-month-long summer game fest. Jeff Keighley is doing this. It's kind of like he calls it a industry-wide celebration of video games that will run from May to August. It'll deliver news, in-game events, and playable content. Phase 1 will include news from 2K, Activision, Bandai, Bethesda, Blizzard, CD Projekt Red, Digital Extremes, EA, PlayStation Private Division, Riot Games, Square, Steam, Warner Brothers, and Xbox. So pretty much instead of getting a one kind of news thing in June where E3 would be, you're going to get 4 months of it through the summer and late spring. I don't count May as summer. I count it as late spring.
Yeah.
But of course, it was. I say that it was 85 degrees today, so it was pretty much summer.
Yeah. But May is like summer because movies.
Yeah.
Made it that way for so long. Like all the big summer blockbusters start in May.
Yeah. So
blockbuster season normally starts, not this year, but
Yeah. So what's cool is they're going to have in-game events, playable content, and demos of select titles. And they'll be over Steam and Xbox and PlayStation as well, and I'm sure Nintendo. If they have anything like that, so that's pretty cool. They don't
have a schedule or anything yet, so who knows what it means? Like, are they just going to do like one thing a month? Is it
right?
Like, here's the thing, and then here's some cool stuff you can play for this month or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah,
we don't know yet. But
yeah,
cool
don't know.
Jeff Keighley for doing something. I bet it'd be pretty well produced too, just from all of this, him having experience with like Game Awards and the other shows he's done. It's probably going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, should be. The site's not fully live yet. You can click on the link there and go to the site, and it says, sign up for notifications when it goes.
It says it's a logo.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't know how deep into it he is. I'm guessing when he announced that he was leaving the E3 stuff, I'm sure that's when he probably started the wheels on this thing, and then when everything shut down, it was more of just slip right in there.
I bet that it's not been in development super long, but him having so many connections in the game industry at this point, he could throw it together and be like, okay, we've got something and we'll figure it out kind of as we go. But
yeah, probably so. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say it's a once a month thing, maybe for 2 or 3 days out of the month, or it could be once a week. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. So should be interesting. So, but that's all the news I have. If anybody's got anything else that I missed, I don't think so. I don't know. There wasn't a ton of stuff going on this week.
So really, no.
It's kind of been quiet, which is okay. So, but so I think we're going to call that a show for the night. Depending on what Microsoft shows at their event Thursday, we might actually end up doing another show next Saturday as well. We might have enough stuff to talk about. New stuff, next gen stuff to talk about that we probably will be able to do a show next week. So we'll see what's going on, see how things are going, and we'll figure it out. We got plenty of time. We got 7 whole days to figure it out. A lot. Normally I could say not a lot will happen in 7 days, but here recently there's been a lot happen in 7 days. So it's like, if I can even keep track of what day it is anymore. Yeah. What was it? We saw a commercial for Kentucky Fried Chicken the other day, and it said something. I don't remember what it said. It says, don't have to worry about it on Sunday because nobody cares what day it is anymore anyway. So it's like, he's right. We're not keeping track of days anymore. So every day's
I am.
I'm only keeping track of
almost
Monday.
More busy since I've gone to work from home than I was when I was still in the office. But it's just more that we had projects hit, and it just happens to be busy. But still, it's just like I got full work days in every day.
That's good.
I've been pretty busy. I would say this last week was a little bit slower, but I'm still busy enough, almost busier than I am in the office. But yeah, my wife, she might not be going back to work until like September. So.
Yeah. Nikki, of course, they called school out, so she's been doing stuff from home for a month anyway. So, I'm going out on Mondays and coming back on Tuesdays, and then I'm done for the week. So, I get my whole week worth in less than 24 hours, and then I'm back at the house again. So, which I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I've gotten used to it. It's going to be hard to go back to a full week's worth of schedule. Is what's going to happen. It goes long enough. So, all right, guys. Well, like I say, follow us on Twitter at GL_podcast. If we do another show and you want to come join us live, that's where the tweet will go out. If you're just a regular podcast listener, then you'll know when we have another show because it'll just automatically pop up on your feed like magic, and it'll all be good. So. All right. Well, thanks a lot for listening, guys. And we will catch you all next time.
Take care.